Storming back from 22 down to stun the Cavs in OT, take that 1-0 series lead. Now the pressure shifts squarely to the Cavs in Game 2 because falling behind 0-2 to the Knicks team that's won 8 straight could put Cleveland's finals hopes in serious danger. And someone that knows a thing or two about this Knicks team, we got Ashley Nicole Moss here. We got Brad Botkin. Excited to chat about what we can look forward to in Game 2 tonight. And let's start with that. How do the Cavs respond after the loss that they just went through?
Well, first of all, I haven't seen Brad since the
what would you like
comeback.
to say to him?
Get the brag.
Listen.
I was going to text you. I was going to text you, but I don't want to jinx it moving forward.
Not bragging. I was just as surprised as everybody else watching it. I thought it was
I have
over.
a hardcore Knicks fan who called me the next morning. He was like, "What happened? He went to bed."
He went
to bed.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. You're not a hardcore Knicks fan if you go to sleep.
This guy's a baby. Every time his team's losing, and he's the good luck. He's the good luck charm if he quits watching.
Not a fan, but I will say this. I think it's going to be interesting how the Cavs come out tonight. I mean, you lose in that fashion, it definitely affects the morale of not only the individual players, but the locker room as a whole, right? You're talking about a team that within 5-ish minutes had a 22-point lead and absolutely just choked their way through the rest of regulation and into overtime. You have Donovan Mitchell, who had no touches, James Harden, who was getting absolutely cooked by Jalen Brunson, Kenny Atkinson, who didn't call a timeout, didn't make any adjustments by taking James Harden and stopping the switch. There was a lot of things that went wrong, and I kind of said this after it happened, is I believe wholeheartedly rather, that was the Cavs' best chance to steal one at the Garden. You had a Knicks team that came out extremely rusty. Their shots were not falling. You go up in the fashion that you do, and it just falls between your hands. Now you're going against a Knicks team coming off of an overtime win, an unbelievable overtime win. You have Jalen Brunson, who's back in his rhythm. He's coming off of an incredible performance, but the Knicks team as a whole completely brushed that rust off. Now you're going against a Knicks team in rhythm, in motion, and you're a Cavaliers team coming off a 2-7-game series and an absolutely debilitating overtime loss. It's going to be interesting to see which version of the Cavs come out tonight.
Yeah, man, they better come out. You know, I'm a Warriors guy, and I'm going to bring the Warriors up here because in 2013, they took a devastating loss in Game 1 to San Antonio. They were up 16 with 4 minutes to play. They blow it. Everybody remembers the Monty Ginobili shot, and I thought, we are cooked. You lose in that fashion, it's too heartbreaking. They can't come back. They came back in Game 2 on the road and won. And for some reason, in my memory, are the Cavs tough enough mentally to come back and do it? I don't think James Harden is the type of player that you lean on for that kind of comeback mentally. I do think Donovan Mitchell has that kind of game in him. Tactical adjustment-wise, what's interesting is early, yes, there was some rust from the Knicks, but early in the game there was like a ton of switching. Kenny Atkinson talked about it. Karl-Anthony Towns has been facilitating a lot of offense for New York. They switched everything. They mucked them up. There was some rust involved, but that had a lot of impact. Fast forward to the fourth quarter, and the switching kills them. They just were too easy to switch James Harden onto Jalen Brunson. They got to fight through those. They can't leave him on an island that often. He got absolutely murdered in broad daylight by Jalen Brunson, and he did it time and time and time again. They switched hunting him every single possession, and the Cavs just soft switched. They just didn't fight through the screen. They said, you know what, we're going to easily switch this, let James play him, and James Harden did not have a chance. If you look at the points possession on isolations, he got cooked. 1.9 points every time he squared him up. That is unbelievable statistical information, and he is.
But also,
they can't do that.
It was extremely surprising. Donovan Mitchell didn't call for the ball once. I mean, this is supposed to be your team.
It was interesting.
This is your, this is the first time in the conference finals in your career, and you go into overtime losing a 22-point lead in a game that everyone thought was over, and you let James Harden kind of take the reins from you, and you don't step up and say you demand the ball.
I was interested in that too. I don't know how much Kenny Atkinson is in the huddle, and they've just decided that James Harden is going to be the point of our offense, because you're right. And it was James Harden that was forcing threes, that was trying to get to the bucket. Those guys combined were 1 for 10 down the stretch for 3 points. Meanwhile, Jalen Brunson goes, I think, 8 for 10 in his last name, maybe even 9 for 10. And so the juxtaposition of the star against star was just heavily swayed toward New York. And again, I just go back to, if you're up 22 points, James Harden is no longer necessary offensively. I don't even know why he was in the game. Like, at that point, just protect the lead. Once they started switch hunting him on every single possession, and he's your Achilles heel, get him out of the game.
Yeah.
Were you surprised he was still in the game?
Yeah, there was a point, when Jalen Brunson started cooking and we go into a commercial break, I remember watching with my dad and I'd say there's no way when we get back that James Harden is still in the game. Any good coach is going to see that he's just food for Jalen Brunson and they're going to take him out or they're going to make sure that the switch doesn't happen.
Correct.
You get back from the commercial break and he's still on the floor and I said, I'll take it because I know exactly what's going to happen.
And they're still just
and it happened time after time after time. And I was just so surprised that not only in regulation, but then the game goes into overtime and the switch is still happening. James Harden is still Jalen Brunson's defender, and it was just mind-boggling because it just seemed so simplistic to stop the switch or just remove James Harden from the equation altogether, and it just wasn't what they did. And then Kenny Atkinson after the game says, I trust James Harden's defense. I'll keep him in the game 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10.
No.
And I'm like, I guess we weren't watching the same game.
Not with the lead.
Sometimes you got to take a step back and see it from a different view to realize what's actually going on there. You keep bringing that 22-point lead. That the stats, 594-2. Teams leading by 22 points in the fourth quarter go on to win. So
Jenny, you can take that one further. If you take it down, because they were up 22 with 7 minutes to play.
Yeah.
So if you take fourth quarter, only 2 teams, including the Knicks, have ever come back. If you take it down to 7 minutes, it had never happened. 648-0 teams leading by 22 with 7 minutes to play. So Cavs on the wrong side of history.
Absolutely on the wrong side of history. But let's give the due to the Knicks and what they were able to do.
Sure.
And you mentioned him a million times. Jalen Brunson, the performance he put on, 34 points, 8 assists, 11 to 21 shooting. When you just think about his name at this point, and Ashley, I ask you this because you're our Knicks girl. I mean, is it just Knicks immortality for the man now?
Yeah, I think Jalen Brunson has solidified himself as not only one of the greatest New York Knicks, but one of the greatest New York athletes at this point. I mean, I know they're hands down. I mean, what
Derek Jeter's rolling over his grave.
He's not dead.
Yeah, one of.
Derek Jeter's very much alive.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson has already put himself in the category of one of the greatest New York Knicks to ever put on the jersey, but he's also one of the greatest New York athletes, not only for just what he has brought to this New York Knicks team, but everything he embodies as a player, his tenacity, his no-quit attitude, his, team-first mentality. I mean, everything that you want in a New York athlete, that you require in a New York athlete, because it's an extremely tough market to play. And Jalen Brunson had a lot on his plate when he got to the New York Knicks. It was a team that needed to get over the hump and needed to start winning ASAP. And he was up for the challenge, even though there's a lot of chatter about Jalen Brunson, a lot of questions about Jalen Brunson and what the Knicks were paying him and could he be the guy. And time after time, he has shown that you can rely on him more than you can't. So, look, the Knicks have a far way to go to get to the NBA Finals. We're only on game 2. I believe that this is the team that can absolutely get there. I've been saying it since November. When you talk about Jalen Brunson, I think currently, and this is putting him over Aaron Judge, this is putting him over every New York athlete currently in my hometown, there is nobody better than Jalen Brunson when you talk about New York sports. He is the guy, and when you think New York sports, it is always going to be Jalen Brunson first during his tenure in New York right now.
Yes, sir. Start spreading the news. Start building the statue. I mean, it's sort of sad that, the Knicks haven't won.
Not yet. The statue is a little crazy.
To some degree, in some markets, you have to win a championship to become this much of a hero. And the Knicks haven't won a championship. But I agree with Ashley. From everything from just the way he has embraced being the focal point, being in the spotlight, not shying from that. And he comes through time after time after time. He's got kind of that X factor gene that when the game is in doubt, he's gonna do something. You're like, he's gonna figure something. You become almost confident in it. In these situations that are supposed to be like shots in the dark, you want him actually taking that shot. He has come through from this team so many times. He was so clutch down the stretch, and he has been for a long time. So I totally agree with Ashley. To think that Jalen Brunson was sort of cast off by the Mavericks, he took less money to allow New York to sign other pieces. I mean, the guy is turning into a folk hero.
And I think also when you talk about New York and New York athletes, New York is forgiving in the sense that even if you don't necessarily win, but you try, there's a love that you have.
Yeah, they
want
to see your heart.
They want to see your heart.
They can see his heart.
But
that's a difference with Boston. I feel like even if you try hard in Boston and you lose, they're like,
in New York, it's also the heart. And I think that when you talk about Jalen Brunson and this New York Knicks team as a whole, yes, they haven't always won, and there have been games and there have been series throughout their tenure, their conjunction as a unit where it's been disappointing to say the least. But it's always been an effort there, and I think that just adds to Jalen Brunson. The New York Knicks as a whole, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, Mitchell, I mean, the list goes on and on. I say this all the time, and this is no knock to Carmelo. Everyone knows how I feel about Carmelo Anthony as a player, one of my favorite basketball players of all time. There has never been a New York Knicks team that the city has gotten behind and has been this excited about since this Jalen Brunson team, and that even supersedes what Carmelo did when he came.
What about, I mean, you were probably too young, but I'm thinking back to like the Ewing teams and when they went to the
but I'm
finals
saying
in
like
99.
this like millennials, I don't think there has been a team that
not
millennials
not
have
even
been.
close.
And that goes back, and Carmelo coming back to New York as a Brooklyn kid was a big deal.
It was, but
and
it never came to fruition.
But it was never to this level. This is a different type of pride.
And the biggest thing the
Knicks.
Knicks should be excited about is all these injuries in the next series we're going to talk about, because if they do get to the finals, you're looking at some compromised Thunder and Spurs teams all of a sudden.
Yeah, we got to break that down at some point, and I'm sure that will happen on HQ today. Okay, game tonight. What's going to happen? Quick.
You already know who I'm picking. I'm going with the Knicks. Go 2-0, defend home court. That's all.
Yeah, it's hard for me to imagine the Cavs bouncing back and winning that game. I'm going to go with the Knicks.
All right, there you have it. We got Knicks taking game 2 from our 2 experts over here. It has been fun to watch already. It'll continue to be exciting. That's without a doubt the upcoming schedule. We got the game tonight, Cavs-Knicks at 8 p.m. Eastern. Then Thunder-Spurs will be Friday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.